Japan has a particular relationship with the ordinary, where most cultures accept the everyday as fixed. The bus stop is a bus stop, the chopstick is a chopstick, the pudding container is a pudding container. Japan looks at it and quietly asks, but does it have to be this way? And most of the time, finds a better way. Here are 24 Japanese ideas so smart, they beat the system. Stick around until the end, because once we reach number 1, you'll need a moment to take it all in. Number 24. Schools that teach carpentry and mechanics as standard curriculum. In most countries, practical education, woodworking, basic mechanics, home repair was removed from school curricula decades ago. The argument, these skills were vocational and therefore optional. The result is multiple generations of adults who cannot fix a leaking tap, hang a shelf, or identify a blown fuse. Japan kept the practical curriculum. In Japanese elementary and junior high schools, subjects called Gijutsu, technology and home economics, are compulsory. Students learn to use tools, work with wood and metal, read basic technical diagrams, wire simple circuits, and understand how mechanical systems function, not as an elective, as a requirement for every student regardless of academic track. Japan does not treat practical knowledge as the consolation prize for students who won't go to university. It treats it as foundational literacy. Every person lives in a physical world made of physical objects. Understanding how those objects work is basic intelligence about that world. Number 23. Coffee in edible waffle cones. At certain coffee stalls and specialty cafes in Japan, your espresso doesn't arrive in a cup. It arrives in a small waffle cone, the inside coated with a thin layer of chocolate that acts as both a flavor layer and a waterproof seal, preventing the hot liquid from soaking through until you're ready to eat it. You drink your coffee. Then you eat the cup. No disposable cup. No lid. No sleeve. No waste. The vessel contributes to the experience, then disappears into you. The presentation is striking enough to be consistently photographed and shared, and the sequence of espresso followed immediately by warm chocolate-lined waffle is objectively good. The engineering window is real. The cone has a structural integrity limit that makes it best suited to espresso-sized volumes rather than large formats. Number 22. Fruit-shaped bus stops. They solved civic infrastructure with joy. In Konagai, a town in Nagasaki Prefecture, the local bus stops are shaped like giant fruit. A strawberry stop, a watermelon stop, a melon stop, a tomato, an orange. Each is a full-scale architectural structure sheltering waiting passengers, shaped precisely like the fruit it represents. Built in the 1990s to draw attention to the region's produce industry, they exceeded the brief considerably, becoming internationally photographed, written about in design publications worldwide, and visited by tourists who make a specific trip to Nagasaki just to see bus stops. The deeper idea is one urban design in most countries has abandoned. Civic infrastructure does not have to be neutral. A bus stop is a moment in someone's day where they are standing still. Number 21. Pineapple cutting. Vending machines. Japan has one vending machine for approximately every 23 people, selling everything from hot ramen to umbrellas to fresh produce. But the pineapple cutting vending machine earns its own mention. At tourist areas and roadside stalls, particularly in Okinawa, where pineapple cultivation is significant, machines accept a whole pineapple, cut and core it automatically on demand, and deliver it in a freshly prepared spiral cut form, ready to eat in under a minute. No staff, no queue, no mess. The spiral cut, which removes the eyes while maintaining the full fruit in a continuous helix, is performed with consistent precision every time. This solves the real problem with fresh-cut tropical fruit, skilled preparation that most people lack. Number 20. Luxury capsule. Hotels. They redefined what sleep needs to be. The original capsule hotel, designed by architect Kisho Kurokawa in 1979, was a pragmatic solution. The businessman who missed the last train and needed somewhere safe and affordable to sleep near a major station. Functional, not intended to be enjoyable. Then Japan kept iterating. Modern luxury capsule hotels, establishments like the Millennials in Kyoto and 9 Hours in Tokyo, have transformed the format into a genuine hospitality product. Each pod is a precisely engineered personal environment, adjustable mood lighting, controlled by tablet, premium mattress, noise-canceling construction, USB ports, individual climate control. Shared spaces include high-end shower facilities and a lounge. What the luxury capsule solved was the hotel industry's core assumption that a guest needs a room with a desk, a wardrobe, a chair, and 4 meters of floor space they won't use. The capsule asks, what if we gave you only what you actually need? Number 19. Solo diner-friendly restaurants. In most countries, eating alone in a restaurant is socially tolerated at best and structurally awkward at worst. 2-person and 4-person tables fill the floor. The single seat at the bar is an afterthought, the consolation prize. Japan engineered the solo dining experience as a first-class product category. Ichiran Ramen, the most internationally recognized example, places each diner in their own individual wooden booth, separated from neighbors by a divider on each side, and from the kitchen by a bamboo screen that raises when your bowl is ready. You select your broth preferences, noodle firmness, and spice level on a paper form. The bowl appears through the screen. You eat entirely alone, without interaction, without the ambient awareness that you are a solo diner in public. Not the couple, not the group. This is both a design decision and a cultural statement. A person eating alone deserves the same quality of experience as anyone else. Number 18. Self-sealing. Jam jar lids. The standard jam jar lid has a problem most people have accepted so completely they've forgotten it qualifies as one. It doesn't reliably create an airtight seal on the second close. Over-tighten it, and you can't open it next time. Under-tighten it, and the jam dries around the rim. The seal is manual, approximate, and entirely dependent on the user remembering to care. Japanese food packaging, particularly from brands like Aohata, uses resealable lid designs that create a positive seal on closure without requiring any particular technique from the user. The most common version uses a center depress mechanism. When the jar is properly sealed, the center of the lid is slightly concave, confirming the vacuum. When opened and reclosed, the liner reseats under the ring and the vacuum restores. You close the lid. It seals. You do not have to think about whether it's sealed. The lid's geometry tells you. This is the difference between a product that works and a product you have to work with. Number 17. Mini desktop vacuums. The eraser crumb is a problem the world decided wasn't worth solving. Japan decided it was. Japanese stationery manufacturers, King Jim, Kokuyo, and others, produce miniature desktop vacuum cleaners specifically sized and powered for desk surfaces. These are not novelty items. They are functional suction devices, USB or battery powered, with a small motorized fan, a sealed filter, and a dust collection chamber. They clean eraser debris, pencil shavings, paper dust, and crumbs from a desk surface in a single pass. They cost about the same as a quality pen. They sit on the desk and are used daily. The Japanese stationery industry treats every small friction in physical desk work as a legitimate design problem, one worth solving completely, not tolerating. Film tape highlighters because ink smears. Connecting calendar stamps because printing planners wastes paper. Number 16. Cane that converts into a portable seat. Japan has the oldest population by median age of any country on Earth. Over 30% of its citizens are over 65. The product design ecosystem that has developed around this reality is more sophisticated than anywhere else because it has had to be. The seat cane converts from a walking support to a stable freestanding stool in a single motion. No tools required, and reverses just as simply. It is engineered to be light enough to carry all day without fatigue, stable enough to sit on without the risk of tipping, and visually unobtrusive enough that users actually carry it, rather than leave it at home out of embarrassment. That last criterion, that the product not stigmatize its user, is the one that most mobility aid design gets wrong. An older person standing in a queue, waiting on a platform, or pausing mid-walk with no seat nearby is experiencing a sustained physical problem. The seat cane eliminates it cleanly, without requiring a separate folding chair or a bench that may or may not be there. Number 15. Easy release. Pudding containers. Japanese convenience store pudding. The thick custard-style purin sold at every konbini. Comes in a container with a small tab or perforated seal at the base. Peel it, invert the cup onto a plate, and the pudding releases cleanly in one piece, dome shape intact, caramel layer on top. No tapping, no knife around the edge, no shaking. The container performs the inversion its contents were always going to require, rather than leaving that problem to the user. How many products are designed with consumption, only partly thought through? Number 14. Aquarium-style fish stores. In Japan, high-end fish retailers, particularly those selling live seafood, premium sashimi fish, and specialty marine products, display their inventory in large illuminated tanks, arranged and lit with the same care as a public aquarium. The fish swim in clean, well-oxygenated water. The tanks are organized by species. The lighting is designed to show the fish at their best quality. You select your fish by looking at it alive, confirming its condition and vitality before purchase. The retailer then processes it immediately, an entirely different freshness proposition from selecting fish from a refrigerated display that has been dead for an unknown period. The aquarium model serves a function beyond aesthetics. It makes the quality of the product completely transparent to the buyer at the moment of selection. A lively, healthy fish in a well-maintained tank is demonstrably fresh. Number 13. Dedicated phone case stores. In Japan's urban retail districts, Akihabara, Harajuku, Shinsaibashi, there are stores whose entire inventory is phone cases, not electronics stores with a phone case section. Stores where the entire floor space and commercial identity is built around that single product category. The depth this specialization produces is immediately apparent. Cases organized by phone model, material, aesthetic category, character license, and function. Staff who know every product in detail. Selection no generalist retailer can match. This is the expression of a retail philosophy that runs through Japanese commerce broadly. Specialization produces expertise. Expertise produces selection. Selection produces a better transaction. The same logic produces dedicated chopstick stores, umbrella stores, stationery stores with hundreds of pen varieties. Japan has decided the generalist compromise is often not worth making. Number 12. Squeezable ice cream pouches, traditional ice cream delivery mechanisms, the cone, the cup, the bar, all share a structural vulnerability. As the ice cream melts, the experience degrades. The cone softens and loses structural integrity. The cup requires a spoon, the bar drips. All of them require a pace of consumption dictated by temperature rather than enjoyment. Japan's squeezable ice cream pouch, a sealed, flexible tube of soft-serve style ice cream, squeezed upward from the base like a toothpaste tube, changes the consumption dynamic entirely. The sealed format prevents dripping. The squeeze mechanism delivers ice cream at your pace rather than gravity's. Number 11. Clip-on cinema snack trays. Japanese cinemas, particularly premium theater chains, offer clip-on trays that attach directly to the armrest of a cinema seat. The tray holds drinks, popcorn, and food items at a stable, accessible height for the duration of the film, leaving both the viewer's hands completely free without putting anything in their lap. The problem the tray solves is one that cinema attendees in every country experience and have simply accepted. The choice between holding your drink for 2 hours, balancing it in your lap with the risk of spillage, or placing it in a cup holder that may be awkwardly positioned. The clip-on tray eliminates all 3 scenarios. Your food is there. It doesn't move. Your hands are free. You watch the film. The engineering is simple: a hinged bracket with a rubber grip, a flat surface, and a cup holder cut into it. The inside is not technical. Number 10. Animal-shaped crepes. Tokyo's Harajuku district popularized the Japanese crepe, a soft, thin, wrapped cone filled with cream, fruit, cake pieces, and sauce, sold from street stalls and eaten while walking. What the most skilled vendors developed over time was the animal-shaped crepe. The crepe constructed and folded so that its top forms the face of a bear, cat, rabbit, or panda, using chocolate chips for eyes, cream for ears, and strawberry for a nose. The contents are identical to a standard crepe. The preparation time adds perhaps 90 seconds to the process. The result is a food item that people photograph before eating, share online, and specifically seek out. converting a standard street food transaction into an experience with a social dimension the original format lacked entirely. This is the Japanese instinct applied to food presentation. The product is complete when it satisfies the eye as well as the appetite, because a person consuming something in public is having an experience that has more dimensions than taste alone. The animal crepe understood this. It became one of the most photographed street foods in Asia as a result. Number 9. Extra long fries in tall containers. Japanese McDonald's locations and specialty fast food chains have periodically offered French fries in containers significantly taller than the standard format. Long, thin fries in an upright tube or tall box that allows the fry to be eaten from the top, while the container handles all the structural work of holding the portion upright and accessible. The standard fry container is a short box the customer is expected to carry, place on a tray, and reach into repeatedly. The tall container is held in one hand like a cup. The fries protrude from the top at a consistent, accessible height, and the container maintains grip and stability throughout the meal. It is more compact to carry, easier to eat from while standing or moving, and resolves the ergonomic problem of the fry box tipping over. The idea reached viral status internationally because people encountered it and immediately understood it to be better, not in a complicated way, but in the way that obvious improvements announce themselves. Why wasn't it always this shape? Number 8. Dedicated toilet slippers. In Japanese homes, traditional ryokan, and many restaurants, a separate pair of slippers is kept at the bathroom entrance and worn only inside the toilet room. When entering, you step out of your house slippers and into the toilet slippers. When leaving, you step back into your house slippers. The logic is completely consistent. The toilet room is a space with its own hygiene category, and the floor of that space should not share a surface contact pathway with the floors of the rest of the home. The toilet slippers are the physical embodiment of that boundary. They don't enter the living room. The house slippers don't enter the toilet. Visitors from other countries encounter these and almost universally experience the same 2-second cognitive recalibration. This is the obvious way to do this. The fact that almost no other culture has implemented a formal physical boundary between toilet floor and living floor, despite everyone agreeing that those are different hygiene categories, is one of those gaps that, once you notice, is difficult to stop thinking about. Number 7. Chopstick rests. The chopstick rest, hashioki, is a small ceramic, wood, or stone object, often shaped decoratively, placed beside the plate for resting chopsticks between bites. The utensil is rested on it rather than laid directly on the table surface or balanced against the bowl. The problem it solves is genuinely practical. Chopstick tips that have touched food and been in the mouth should not rest on the shared table surface between uses. The rest creates a clean, designated resting point that keeps the eating end of the utensil off the table. It also prevents the chopsticks from rolling, marks the place setting, and in high-end Japanese dining is often itself a small work of craft, a seasonal shape, a specific material, a regional design. Japan turned the incidental moment of setting down a utensil between bites into an object category. The rest has a function, an aesthetic dimension, and a place in the table setting that it occupies with intention. That this level of thought was applied to the gap between bites is either evidence of a culture that cares about the details of eating to an unusual degree, or simply proof that when you look at any moment closely enough, it turns out to be worth designing. Number 6. Makeup effect glasses with blush lenses. Japanese eyewear designers produced frames fitted with lightly tinted lenses in a soft rose or peach tone, calibrated to create the visual effect of a natural blush on the wearer's cheekbones when viewed by others. The tint is subtle enough to read as a glow rather than a filter, and positioned in the lens so the color falls across the cheekbone zone when worn. The glasses do not apply anything to the face. They contain no pigment, no coating, no active cosmetic element. They produce a cosmetic effect through optics alone, by filtering the light that reaches the observer's eyes in a way that mimics the appearance of blushed skin. This is a beauty product designed as eyewear. It functions without touching the face, requires no application time, wears for the duration the glasses are on, and removes entirely when the glasses come off. Japan looked at a cosmetic result, the appearance of a natural blush, and found a delivery mechanism that bypasses the entire cosmetic application category. It is either a novelty or a genuinely new class of wearable aesthetic product, and the line between those two things in Japan has a way of moving toward the latter over time. Number 5. Tokoroten, jelly noodles. They've been eating for 1,300 years. Tokoroten is a food that predates most of the items on this list by over a millennium. Made by boiling Tengusa seaweed and setting the resulting liquid into a firm jelly, then pressing it through a wooden frame with a grid of wires to produce long, thin, noodle-like strands. It has been eaten in Japan since at least the Nara period, the 8th century. It contains almost no calories. It is almost entirely composed of agar and water. It is eaten cold, typically with a rice vinegar and soy sauce dressing, sometimes sesame, sometimes a sweet syrup depending on the region. It satisfies the texture desire of a noodle while providing almost none of the caloric content. It requires no cooking once the base jelly is set. It keeps well. It can be produced from shelf-stable seaweed. The global food industry has spent decades searching for satisfying low-calorie substitutes for pasta and noodles, producing various engineered products with textures that approximate but rarely achieve the target. Japan has been eating a naturally occurring, single-ingredient seaweed noodle that hits every requirement since the 700s. The idea didn't need inventing, it needed discovering, and most of the world still hasn't found it. Number 4. Mount Fuji themed merchandise. Done with restraint. Japan has an entire product category that most countries attempt and fail at. Merchandise that incorporates national iconography elegantly rather than cheaply. The Mount Fuji pencil sharpener, a small desk object shaped precisely like the mountain silhouette, with a pencil inserted at the peak and the shavings collected in the base, is the clearest example. The sharpener works. It is also an accurate representation of the mountain. The souvenir function and the practical function are not in conflict because the design made both requirements work simultaneously. Similarly, Mount Fuji erasers shaped to scale, with the snow cap as a separate white eraser stacked on a gray base, are used by students as actual erasers rather than kept as decorative objects because they were designed to be both. Japanese souvenir culture consistently produces objects that are simultaneously gifts, functional tools, and design objects. The tourist who buys a Fuji sharpener takes home something they will use on their desk. That's the target, and Japan hits it while most souvenir markets produce objects that go straight into a drawer. Number 3. Hello Kitty Shinkansen. The West Hikari Hello Kitty Shinkansen operates on the Sanyo Shinkansen line between Shin Osaka and Hakata. Its exterior is the pink and white Hello Kitty color scheme with bow motifs. Its interior includes a Hello Kitty-themed goods car selling exclusive merchandise only available on board, a photo area, themed seat headrests, and seasonal decoration changes. It is a nationally operating high-speed train, traveling at the speeds and punctuality standards of the Shinkansen network. Delays measured in seconds, speeds up to 300 kilometers per hour, wrapped entirely in a character license and operated as both a functional transit vehicle and a branded experience product. The Hello Kitty Shinkansen is the fullest expression of a Japanese cultural idea, that infrastructure and joy are not competing values. A train can be efficient and delightful. A bus stop can be a watermelon. A pudding cup can release cleanly onto a plate. A chopstick can rest on a small ceramic fox. None of these things are intention. The train runs on time. It also has a bow on it. Both are true simultaneously, and Japan sees no reason they shouldn't be. Number 2. Bag clip with built-in pouring spout. The bag clip is a product that exists in almost every kitchen in the developed world. A clamp that seals open bags of chips, cereal, rice, or flour after first use. It solves the problem of keeping the contents fresh. It solves only that problem, and partially, because the bag still requires 2 hands to open, and the contents still require pouring through an uncontrolled opening. The Japanese version adds a built-in pouring spout to the clip. Seal the bag with the clip. When you want to pour, open the spout nozzle integrated into the clip body and dispense directly. Controlled flow, 1 hand, no mess, no funnel required. The clip that sealed the bag is also the controlled pouring mechanism for accessing the bag's contents. 2 problems. 1 object, 0 compromise on either function. The original clip does its job. The spout does an additional job the original never attempted. This is the kind of hardware that causes people to hold it for a moment longer than expected, process what it actually does, and then go immediately to find where to buy several of them. Number 1. Corn-flavored soft serve ice cream. We end not with engineering, not with infrastructure, and not with centuries-old craft. We end with corn ice cream, corn soft serve, especially in Hokkaido. Japan's northern island and its agricultural heartland is made from fresh, local sweet corn processed into a cream base and served in the soft serve format. It is sweet. It is savory. It is corn undisguised, not corn as a flavoring note. Not corn extract added to vanilla, but corn as the primary flavor identity of the ice cream. It sounds wrong before you try it. Then you try it, and it is not wrong. What corn soft serve represents at the end of this list is the thing that ties all 24 entries together: Japan's willingness to take something ordinary and ask whether it was actually finished yet. The ice cream flavor list felt complete. Chocolate, vanilla, strawberry, done. Japan looked at sweet corn, understood it was already sweet, already creamy in the right heat, already regionally important in Hokkaido, and added it to the list. And it works. It works the way a self-sealing jam lid works, the way a seat cane works, the way a chocolate-coated waffle cone coffee cup works, because someone looked at something that seemed finished and realized it wasn't. That is the system Japan keeps beating. The assumption that the current version is the last version. It never is. If this one made you rethink something you use every single day, leave it in the comments. We'll be back with more from the country that is quietly, consistently, and without much fuss, still improving everything. So like, subscribe, and see you in the next one.